Good evening and thanks for joining us on this St. Patrick's Day Sunday. I'm Spencer Conlin. Let's waste no time and get right to it. The main roadway through this community is practically blocked off at this hour by power lines and downed trees. We begin tonight with an update regarding a story out of New York we first told you about last night. 2 Ticonderoga men have been arrested after a man's body was discovered in a river Friday morning. Certainly the excitement here at the DoubleTree Hotel has ticked up over the last several minutes or so, with those numbers looking very good for Governor Phil Scott.
We've got you surrounded.
I was going to say,
that
means there must be a pretty big storm outside. What we do know at this hour is that 2 people have been injured. 1 has died as a result of her injuries. From the Vermont State House this week, lawmakers in the House have given preliminary approval to the taxation of e-cigarettes. If you come across something like this tonight, do not drive across it. In tonight's Crime Watch, a close call for a Vermont DMV inspector whose cruiser was struck during a traffic stop on I-91 near St. Johnsbury today. Here are some photos shared with us by the DMV. You can see a considerable amount of damage to the rear of the truck. I spoke with officials here at Burlington Electric just a short while ago who told me that the grid itself was not compromised and that there was no sensitive information leaked. Santa Claus is coming to town.
He's coming in on a new ride, too.
He took a break, though, from the North Pole first.
This story only on Local 22. Our Spencer Conlin was the first to report Debbie Ingram's blood alcohol level was twice the legal limit. Spencer, you've seen the video.
That's right, Lauren. After our public records request, the Williston Police Department released a dash cam video showing what appears to be the senator failing a standardized field sobriety test that drivers are asked to complete when police suspect drunk driving.
How much have you had to drink tonight?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Vermont State Senator Debbie Ingram, after Williston police responded to reports of a crash on October 12th along South Road at about 8 p.m. When officers arrived, they found Ingram's Mercedes stuck in a ditch less than a mile away from the 55-year-old's home.
Where were you headed?
Just to get to the grocery store.
Okay.
Ingram, a Democrat elected to the state Senate last year, can be heard in the video saying she had been drinking for about an hour, but later says she started drinking 2 hours before the crash.
So have you had anything to drink tonight?
Yes, I have.
You have? What did you have?
Some vodka.
Vodka? When was your last drink?
About half an hour ago.
Half an hour ago? Okay. When was your first drink?
About 6 o'clock tonight.
According to the crash report we received and video captured by the dash cam, Ingram had driven off the road for about 100 yards, came close to hitting a utility pole and taking down a mailbox. About 3 minutes after police arrived, the officer begins a field sobriety test.
You're going to hold it 6 inches off the ground like so and keep your foot parallel to the ground. When you do so, count out loud.
1,000, 2 1,000. 3 1,000.
The senator then submitted a roadside breathalyzer, which is not admissible in court.
Blow, 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 blow. If you had to guess, what number would you have blown?
I don't know.
495.
Ingram was arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence, and her car was towed away due to damage. Williston police say another breath test was done about an hour and a half later at the station, where the senator blew a .186. The legal limit in Vermont is .08. Earlier today, I spoke to a woman who told me that the conditions got so bad that she and her children had to leave their home in the middle of the night. Taking a quick drive through Milton in Georgia Monday, you saw a lot of this. Downed power lines, trees, and other debris.
My children woke me up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and debris was hitting the house and they were petrified. Decided to pack up and go and stay in a parking lot where there was no trees.
When Carrie Rushford and her children returned, their home was spared, but other mobile homes in the community were not so lucky.
This happens a lot around here with these trees. It's hard, so that's kind of the big thing, is just figuring out how to get it taken care of and picked back up.
In Georgia, Christine Bean rode out a portion of the storm outside after accidentally locking herself out of her home.
So I was about an hour out in the wind in the storm. I mean, they were really swaying hard. I could see them moving. I was really nervous that one of them was going to come down.
People in Georgia were also surveying the damage. The powerful winds tore down a piece of Ricky Gratton's willow tree.
After the ball game, it was whipping pretty good, and I came out and I watched it. I've never seen it that bad here for at least the last 20 years.
Over on Nottingham Drive, this large tree knocked out power to the neighborhood. Christopher Carroll lives next door.
The crack sounded like almost, I've been in the military, so a bomb going off. It just, it shook the ground when it hit.
While the cleanup continues for many, Gratton says it could have been worse.
Nobody got hurt, so that's the main thing. This is just exercise for me.
Sign reading "Dangerous Building" was posted Tuesday outside this apartment on High Street in St. Albans. Shortly after, the power and gas were turned off. Tenants inside were in shock.
They handed us these packets and told us we had 24 hours to get out.
Liz Cook and her neighbors were given this safety order by the city of St. Albans. Inside were details about an inspection on the building completed in February 2016, which found it to be unsafe and dangerous. Some of the issues included deteriorating bricks, bowing walls, and cracks in the foundation. More than a year later, no repairs have been made.
It's kind of scary because that's where the gas meters are. Even a small quake of any kind could have caused that to fall over. I'd be gone.
Cook says she just signed a lease in June, but she says the landlord did not tell her about any of the structural issues.
I signed a whole year lease, thinking I'm going to have a place to live for an entire year.
I did speak with the gentleman who owns this building, Anthony Gamache. He did not want to go on camera today, but shared some information saying that he has been working hard to fix the problems with the building, but the folks he wanted to do the work had a scheduling conflict, which brought us today. He says he's also working hard to get these folks back into their homes.
They said 24 hours, but there's no way I can do that. I don't have the money for a storage unit. I don't have the money for the first or second month's rent.
Cook says she has secured free emergency housing, but only for 9 days. She says she has concerns for other tenants, some who have gone to a campground.
My neighbors do have kids, and that scares me even worse because I've lived on the streets. I've been on the streets. It's not fun.
Stop the hate! Stop the fear! Immigrants are welcome here!
Around 300 people marched through downtown Burlington this afternoon, calling for the release of Enrique Balzacar and Zuli Palacios.
They've been detained, arrested and detained. Kike and Zuli were arrested yesterday, and they've been held without communication. We haven't heard anything from them since they were arrested by immigration.
According to an immigration and customs enforcement spokesman, on Friday, federal agents conducted a targeted arrest of a female who entered the United States legally but overstayed her visa by nearly a year. Balzacar was with her and was also arrested after it was determined he was in violation of U.S. immigration laws.
Do we want them to be free or no? Yes!
Protesters today took aim at the White House.
Donald Trump, the president, that we're not going to allow him to continue to separate our families, to continue to divide our communities, and continue to take our leaders. We're not going to allow that.
Also this week, 23-year-old Alexis Carrillo Sanchez, a citizen of Mexico, was also arrested following a targeted vehicle stop. According to officials, he claimed to have entered the United States illegally in 2010.
Whether it's refugees or immigrants, we need to become stronger together.
Governor Phil Scott weighing in on the issue, which he calls a federal matter.
It has to be up front, and we need to figure out what's going on, the guidelines associated with that, and so we're taking it seriously.
Victor Diaz is another member of Migrant Justice. He was detained about a year ago under similar circumstances.
I feel a lot of anguish and anger and sadness to see my companions detained, people who I've lived with, shared with, and to see them taken away from me is terrible.
Diaz says he and all the others who have rallied in support will not let up, as there are several petitions circulating social media.
We have networks all around the country who are writing in support of our detained friends, and we're going to be sending all of that to ICE, and they're going to start feeling the heat really soon.
Known for its deli sandwiches, baked goods, and friendly service, the Woodbury Village store quickly became a staple in town when Zach and Jessica took over in the beginning of 2016.
We didn't realize how popular the store would be.
The goal was to provide Zach with a place to live and work comfortably, while the 38-year-old battled Lyme disease, which had gone undiagnosed for 5 years.
That affects every moment of every day, including sleep, including eating.
When Zach and Jessica bought the building, work started almost immediately with renovations starting from the ground up.
We got everything up to code. We redid the decor, moved the equipment around and purchased new equipment. We completely redid the kitchen.
With the store's popularity growing, Zach's presence was in high demand, all while his disease worsened.
You know, the harder you work, the worse it gets. I'm sitting around while my wife is running circles around me and my employees are doing most of what I'm supposed to be doing.
It's that realization that made Zach and Jessica decide they had to sell.
The degeneration of his energy and capabilities just in 1 year made us realize there's nothing more important than our health.
After Columbus Day, the Woodbury Village store will be operating on reduced hours until the store is bought. Zach and Jessica say the hardest part will be saying goodbye to their employees and customers.
People of the town, I love people coming in all day, every day. And it's like friends just coming over and buying stuff from your house.
In the meantime, Zach says he is seeking new treatment.
I don't know if it's going to work or not. I'm going to give it another shot, right? I've tried several. They haven't worked. Maybe this one will.